All right, market update here on the 12th. So, down day in the market, straight down 1.5%. And I absolutely hate these days because every stock is just going to be down no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens. Stock could have good news, it's going to go down. In the last couple of years, we can be honest, it's just these days are garbage because it just pins and then the algo just walks the stocks down. There's no movement at all. So I was done trading within like 5 minutes. I traded Tesla today. I was done 5-10 minutes into the open, and I could have literally just left my computer and not looked at the rest of the day and been fine, because of how stupid the market is. I'm sure other people feel the same way. It's just lately, over the last couple months, it's because we're in this fourth wave or we're in this chop. It's just every day is the same thing. You get the move in the first 30 minutes to an hour, then the rest of the day is just absolutely nothing, basically. It's just option premium burning. So anyway, we got that day. Everything was down, and SPX was down 1.5%. You can see here I drew it up. In the last video, I thought we were going to get another leg up, potentially. But instead, it just made an ABC move here, and then we gapped down today. We hit the parallel line almost exactly. So that is the C wave. And I think we're ready to bounce. One reason I think we're ready to bounce, we finished above the 50 DMA. We did hit it, and we finished above it. That is definitely bullish. And we're in a demand zone. So the only way I think that we are bearish on Monday is if they actually do, if Iran actually attacks Israel, which I think is very, very unlikely, just based on the fact that we're talking about it. I don't think that they would tell everybody they're going to do it and then just do it. So I think that's probably a bluff. And if it is a bluff, that's going to be really bullish. So not only are the technicals bullish, but if that's a bluff, we're going to be bullish. So where would I be looking at? I'd be looking up here at 5170 to 5211. And I'm looking for either this for the next move higher. We're looking for 6,000. Or we're going to end up doing this maybe down to here. So right now, I think we finished an ABC move, so we should be seeing a higher move on Monday. I did buy a few calls. I don't particularly like the play. I did a little bit in the money. The reason I don't really like it that much, but I was trying to buy UVXY puts on Schwab, and for whatever reason, they had a reverse split, I think, yesterday. And so there was no options on UVXY. So I don't like buying calls when the VIX is that high, because then when the VIX gets crushed, premium comes down, and then even if you get the move that you want, then you're probably going to make less money. But I'm pretty confident with the close, so I think that I can still make money on them. Looking for 5170. So that's SPX. If we do drop below the 50 DMA, then you're looking down here at 4970. I guess 5,000 basically. And you have this down here, which is a 200 DMA at 4655, but I'd be looking at this first right here. So in previous videos, I said mid-May, right around this area. That's possible. But right now, it looks bullish to me. So expect a bluff from Iran. Expect bullishness on Monday. And expect 51.7 at some point, probably next week. All right, QQQ, same story. Finished above the 50 DMA. A little bit different. And I haven't been following it as much, but I'm guessing that it's the same story. I'm looking up here at 445 for a gap fill, but overall I'm looking between 442 and 446 for a bounce. So that's about a 1 or 2% bounce next week. And again, above the 50 EMA, holding demand. Eventually could come down here to 425. Tesla. So this is the only one I traded, and I told you in the video yesterday I bought puts up in here. So again, 5 minutes into the open, I was pretty much out of all my puts. I didn't know if we were going to come down here to this demand zone or if we were going to just come down here to like low 170s. But in the video I was saying low 170s is probably what's going to happen, and this is exactly what happened. We didn't even break 170 at all. So it's kind of unclear what this is. There's a few different possibilities. The first possibility is we get a second wave pullback next week and then come down here and fill the gap at 165. Or this one's probably more probable. Probably more probable. Wave 1, wave 2, and we move up. That is more likely in my opinion. We can draw a parallel line here and just get an idea. Let's just see where this would take us. So 180.62. Pull back to 178. And look at that, 184. We might be, let's see. Yeah, this might be a C wave right here, actually. There's a few different things it could be. Again, this is a very tricky, this could be a third wave still too. So this could be the start of a third wave higher. Could be a C wave higher as well. Again, it could be, this is ABC, this was ABC. This could also be ABC like that. And that would hit 184 as I just showed you. And if that happens, then you could zoom out here and look what's most likely then. We could be hitting ABC going into earnings, and then this could end up being ABC down here to 148. So there's a lot of different possibilities with Tesla. Of course, we got earnings next week, so that's going to be the determining factor of where this goes. But right now, I think I'm leaning bullish just based on the setup. It looks to me like this could be a start of a third wave. And it could be going higher, actually. Now I'm thinking about this. This could be a third wave. This might be a 5-wave move, so it might actually be like this. So if we get a third wave, you're looking at 191. So if we hit 191 going into earnings and like fade off, we're probably going to 200. But if it ends up being ABC, again, that would be what I just talked about. I think I'm probably leaning on the ABC. That's probably going to be the most likely. So again, like that. Just because of the overall market, I think it's probably going to go down lower. So they might be taking this to 148, unfortunately. I feel like people are getting pretty bullish, and I am too. But I'm just going to follow the chart and see where it takes us. We already hit this demand zone. We can fill this gap later. I think upside is more likely. For next week at least. Going into OPEX. Microsoft. It's still holding, but this is not an impulse move. So you might get a move up higher here to 427, fill this gap. But I think overall, this is probably going to come down here. I think this is coming down here to 405. So the more I look at these charts, the more I'm like, all right, they're probably going to fall later. We're probably going to be bearish into like mid-May. Apple. But again, next week is bullish. So Apple is just completing a fourth wave, in my opinion. That again will, but if this breaks above 180, then that completely invalidates this 5-wave move. This could end up being a ABC move as well. So we'll see on Apple. It is in a supply zone, but it was one of the only tech stocks that was bullish today. NVIDIA pulling back. That's kind of what I expected. But I think this might be ready to go next week, like everything else. Let's see. Hit the 0.38 fib. Looks to me, is there a gap right here? There might be a gap. No, no gap. So we'll see. Maybe NVIDIA will pull back a little bit early in the day. Maybe back down here to this demand zone. But I probably need to go over this a little bit more. Yeah, I'm just going to watch. We'll see what happens with NVIDIA. I will take a look at the demand zones and supply zones. So right there is probably the one you're looking at right here, 906. Needs to break above 906. Let's take a look at the moving averages. So finish below the 20, but above the 50. So not extremely bullish, but not bearish either. We'll see what happens next week. As long as it stays above the 50 DMA, then it's not going to be bearish, really. If it breaks below that, then you could be looking down here, though, pretty quickly down here to like 716. But I don't expect that to happen. So I'll go over it more this weekend. Bitcoin miners, Mara. So something important happened here. It sold off hard all day, but it was able to finish above the 200 DMA. That is very important. If it would have broken and finished below the 200 DMA, I would say it's probably going to come down here and fill the gap at 1378. So we'll see what happens next week. It is really, really oversold outside of the standard deviations. I'm expecting a bounce next week on pretty much everything. If this were going to bounce, I'd be looking all the way up here at potentially 21 bucks. We'll see. But that's the next supply zone right here. Probably go down lower time frames and find some more. I guess the first area I'd probably be looking at is 1750. That where we gap down at. Maybe there wasn't a gap down. So 1750 is the first spot I'd be looking at right here. And they're probably going to do a lot of premium killing next week, maybe for OPEX. So maybe this gets to 1750. I would expect it to hold the 200 EMA next week if the market's bullish. And we'll see where it goes from there. You have a lot of areas it can go to. You have a gap up here at 21.59. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say on it right now. 200 DMA was very important. Let's see here. AMD, I'm not going to go over it. It did barely move. It went down. BA. Ooh, I didn't look at this all day. That is really ugly. This is actually looking like it's a third wave now. Keeps on going. Like I've been saying though, I think it's coming down here to 150. Crazy. But 150 is at monthly demand, and you have the 200-day on the monthly down here at 149. And you can see here, that's a very important level for this chart going all the way back to the very beginning. So that is a really, really strong support at 150. I'll be buying there. If it gets to 150, I'm buying. Neo. I actually started a position here today. We'll see what happens. I've had this marked for such a long time that I had to start a position. This is, well, there's one below it too, I guess, right here at 250. That's a monthly demand. But you also have monthly demand right here. So I would expect it to bounce out of this box. It's coming straight down from 15 bucks all the way to 4. I bought in at like 424, added some more at 415, and probably just going to add maybe a few more times if it comes down here a little bit lower and see what happens. I think that this is, it's got to start bouncing here soon, I would think. But we'll see. If it ends up just going down, 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 then I might cut my losses. I think I bought 1,500 shares. So Donald Trump, not much movement today. Still looking for 24 bucks on that. The dollar. So the dollar did come up here to 106. So again, if I'm wrong about this, and this is not a first wave down, then we're looking at this scenario then. Then we're looking at potentially something like this. This would end up being a first wave, second wave, third wave would go up here to 107.53. Pull back to 106.35. And we'd be headed all the way up to maybe like 110. So if that were to happen, then the whole thing looks like this. ABC. This is not a bullish structure for the dollar. I'll just say that. So I don't care if it goes to 110. If it goes to 110, it's still coming down here to this demand zone right here. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer. This B wave would take probably about a year and 3 months. The start of this was September 22. We're looking at like 20 months. So then I would look for like 10 months from May, mid-May. That takes us to like March of 2025 for the bottom of the dollar. So it keeps on getting stretched out. If we break above 107.41, it's very possible that we do. We'll see what happens. But again, this is definitely a bearish structure. On the standard deviations, though, we're getting to the very top of the range. On the weekly, 110 would take us, we could even go to 113. 110 to 113 would take us to the pretty much the top of the weekly. And then we could sell off down here to 96 bucks. So still bearish in the dollar, but short-term bullish. Bitcoin's probably going to fall here. And it looks to me like, I mean, this can go so many different ways. This could be some kind of corrective move. We could come up here higher next week and then sell off, but I still expect this to come all the way down to the low 60s at some point. And it's below, no, it's barely above, I guess. I'm on the wrong one. Bitcoin, Coinbase is better. So we are below, or we're barely above the 50 DMA. If it were to break below it, you never know. It could come down here, low 50s, but I'm expecting maybe like low 60s or so. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have any other tickers to go over. Let me know in the comments if I missed one of yours. You want me to go over some other ones, and I will take a look at it for you. That's it for now. Have a good weekend. Like, subscribe if you like the content, and I'll catch you in the next video.